Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, bringing you some more Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 gameplay. I know, 2 Call of Duty gameplays in back-to-back days, I must be going insane, but this gameplay is a really interesting one because it shows how to effectively rush against good players. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about the class again. This is the same class, virtually identical, that I used in my recon video when I was talking about how good a perk recon is. You know, it's a PP90M1 with rapid fire and extended mags, dual attachments, and my perks are Recon Pro, Hardline Pro, and I think Steady Aim Pro is the last one. And you know, I did a commentary about how useful recon is, and this sort of builds on that because this team I was up against in this gameplay, and as you can see I am in a small party again, but this team are a really good team. You know, they push us all the way. I think the final score of this game is 200 to 194. You know, they pushed us all the way, the game before, the game after that. You know, they were really solid opponents, but this is a fantastic way for me to show you how you can effectively rush against a good team, because I rush with a very aggressive class and I end up getting 50 kills against a very good team. So for this commentary, I just wanted to talk about how I go about doing that. Right, the first tip is the class setup you're using, because obviously if you're going to be an aggressive rushing player, you need an SMG really, or a shotgun. But on even a map as small as Dome, there's quite a lot of medium range gunfights, so when I'm wanting to be really aggressive, I always run with a high rate of fire machine gun, and the PP90M1 is key to that. Another great perk for rushing, although it seems a little bit of a strange choice at first, is Recon Pro. Now, I did a full video on Recon Pro, so I'm not going to bore you with too much on this, but the ability to throw flashes and shoot someone and know exactly where they are on the map for about 8 or 9 seconds, I think it is, that's a fantastic ability, and it enables you to be a lot more aggressive than you realise, because if you know exactly where someone is, there's no point and there's no need to keep going in, checking your corners. You know, you can just rush in and take him out in the minimum delay as possible. So Recon, especially when using extended mags, meaning you don't have to reload as much, is a fantastic perk for rushing, and that goes obviously very well with Steady Aim. I'm using Hardline Pro not really as a pure rusher, but as a better way to partner with Recon Pro to get me some cheaper point streaks and some easier point streaks, because especially as I'm running a Predator missile, it's just a free kill most of the time, so it is really worth going for that. But that's enough of my my class setup. For the rest of this commentary, I'm going to talk about the tactics you need to do to be able to rush effectively against a good opposition team. Now, most of the time when I give you tips for domination and playing against good players, I say manage the traffic spawn, gain map control of the map, and you will have a much easier game. And the core of that stays when you're rushing against a good team. You need to deny the enemy the power positions on the map with your rushing style. And on Dome, the power position, in my opinion anyway, is the area of tanks just outside B-Dom. Now, this is quite a strange position. You might think the Dome building is, but if you go onto the hill right in front of me there, just before I turn right, you know, I'll point it out again when it comes up. But if you go into this area here where I just spawned, looking at the tanks just outside B, you are within about a 10-second sprint from all 3 objectives. You know, you can run down the hill as I've just done here into C. You can run out of the doors just there into B. B is in that room there. And as you can see, A is just a grenade throw of where I'm standing at the moment. So, you know, from this power position, you can defend pretty much any objective pairing on the map. You can defend A and B, B and C and A all at the same time. You know, it's a fantastic position. And the really good thing about this position is, if you go to this part of the map, the traffic will be so much higher, so you will appear as if you're doing a lot more work. Well, actually, you're only rushing halfway, and then the enemy are rushing to you. And when you're rushing against a good team, you need to be as stationary as possible when you come into the gunfight. You know, when you're playing against poor players, you can go charging around a corner and catch them by surprise, and your aim will be better than theirs, so you end up winning the gunfight. But when you're against good players, you need to rush a little bit more intelligently than that. You see, a lot of the time that I get kills, I have rushed around a corner, but then I've dived into cover quickly before the gunfight, and that is the real key tip to rushing. You know, it's not just about going hell for leather charging around the place. It's about being intelligent with your movement. And I mean, Modern Warfare 3, the maps in this game are so cluttered. I mean, there's barely any open space at all. So it must be a nightmare if you're trying to snipe every game. But as you can see here, I am trying to just shoot someone, dive back into cover, shoot someone, dive back into cover. And by doing that, you ensure that the vast majority of gunfights you run into are on your terms. And in a game like Call of Duty, where the enemies die so quickly, you want that first shot. And the best way to guarantee that first shot is by rushing intelligently into cover. Because, you know, you've just seen there, I dropped a guy over quite decent range for an SMG so quickly. So imagine how quickly you'll die within the effective range of this weapon. So you just need to be a little bit more careful, because a lot of people who play games like Gears of War and Halo, where you can get away with being a bit more aggressive and then running away if a gunfight isn't going in your favour. In Call of Duty, it's very rare you can get out of a gunfight where you're losing. You know, the only times you can really do it are if you're in cover or near to cover, and if you get damaged, you dive into cover quickly to recover. You know, that is the only time really when you are going to reliably get out of a losing gunfight. So you need to cut your losing gunfights completely out of your gameplay, and to do that you need to get into cover a lot more often. Like you saw there, I knew there was an enemy there, and I know there's one in this dome building here, so I don't rush out. I use cover, and as the gunfight goes against me there, I background, let myself heal up a bit, and let my teammates get in. And I know I got killed by a lucky frag grenade there, but that is the way to deal with those gunfights. You know, I pushed up as far as I could, I got into cover, I had a look. See there again, another really good example. I know they're coming thick and fast, but I knew that enemy was there. Instead of engaging him straight away, I flanked round the truck, so I got in behind him. And it's little tips like that. It's very, very difficult in a map and a game as hectic as Modern Warfare 3 and a map as hectic as Dome to get it right every time. And you see a lot of times in this gameplay I don't get it right, but when you get 50 kills, you know you've had a good job rushing, you know, especially in the hectic environment. And I don't get my highest kill streaks a lot, so a lot of, you know, these gun kills in this gameplay are the majority of my kills. So it just goes to show that these tactics do work. You know, if you want to rush against a good team, you can't just do it blindly. You've got to rush into cover, you've got to rush intelligently, and the people who do that best are players like Xcal and Sandy Ravage. And whenever you watch some of their gameplays, you see them not just going hell for leather, but rushing intelligently with cover, and that is a really, really good tip. So that is the tip I really want to leave you guys with. I don't want to clutter your head too much with information, you know, I don't want to go talking about Recon too much again, but I really do urge you to check that Recon gameplay out if you haven't seen it already. It's about a week ago when I uploaded it. It's the same map, it's the same class, but the style of gameplay is completely different. You know, they're two rushing gameplays, but they couldn't be further apart in styles of rush. You know, in this game, the opposition is a lot better. I know in the previous game they kept the score relatively tight. I think it was about 30 or 40 points. But, you know, 4 out of the 6 players in their team went heavily negative, and the other 2 sort of carried them. In this game, every single opponent we're up against is decent. You know, they will give you a very tough battle, and that's why the score is only 6 points different at the end. But the fact is, by carrying out these slightly different 2 rushing styles in those slightly different situations, you can still get very good gameplay. So I got 50 kills today, 51 kills in the other gameplay. So just by rushing intelligently, even against a good team that will give you a very, very good game in domination, you can still do very, very well and get a very good score. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed the commentary. I think the comparison between this video and the Recon video I did on the same map about a week ago is really interesting. So if you guys haven't checked that out, I urge you to. But guys, I'd just like to thank you so much for watching as always, and as always, have a fantastic day.